Welcome back to the Highline Podcast. Hit that button.
Yeah!
Let's go!
You can't do that.
I can't get it right.
Shut the f*** up and let me talk.
I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
You're only young,
But you're gonna die. Proceed to party.
Ooh, are you ready, Riley?
What did he say?
Go Tigers.
That's incorrect.
Go Cox. I think that might be the best one we've ever done. That was good. I like that.
Take it easy. Durn it, durn it, durn it, durn. Slow ride. Durn it, durn it, durn it, durn. Shane, take it easy. Durn it, durn it, durn it, durn. Slow down. No. That's what he
Slow
said.
down.
He said, slow down, Shane.
No.
That's what Shane said. He said, fuck no. He said, fuck these kids. I'm going to fuck them up.
Yeah.
Now it's hot.
Yeah. 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 You're sweating.
I am sweating.
Yeah, you're glistening.
Thank you.
Slow
I
down.
got something else that can glisten for you.
Slow down.
Woo!
Slow down.
There you go, Shane. Oh, no, I don't think it goes like
I don't know what he says right there.
that.
I always thought he said, gotta find a reason to slow down. But
Nah.
that's not what he says.
No, he doesn't. That's the good thing about doing these songs.
You learn lyrics?
You learn the lyrics. You're
Slow
like, oh, I
down.
thought they said fuck her in the ass, and it says, now I need to pass.
Yes.
Or something like that.
When I get bleach on my T-shirt,
Oh, boy.
I'm going to feel like an asshole.
That's where I got that lyric from. Yeah. Anyway,
Well, episode 152.
of the low line.
Low line. Low line. Anyways, yes. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez was this weekend. This is the episode.
This is the last time we got to talk about it for a while.
Yes, so hopefully our TikToks won't keep getting community strikes. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. It's hot as hell here in the studio for the second week in a row.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Looks like a hurricane is going to come through like Luke Combs.
Gonna rock you like a hurricane. What about, who sings that song? Kiss?
I think it's French Kiss that sings it.
You gonna do it?
We. Anyway, yeah, Mexico City was this weekend. Pocono coming up.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, gonna go to the mountains, from one mountain range to another. So we're going.
As Carson Hocevar once said. No, I'm not gonna say it.
What a shithole!
From one shithole to another.
But
I heard Pocono is very nice.
yeah, it is from what I heard as well. But
Need to go up there one day.
we do. My bucket list items is to hit most of the NASCAR tracks, especially the historic ones.
I don't think we can go to Autodromo Rodriguez.
Yeah, I don't either. But I think that's one that I will leave off the bucket list anyway. But for similar reasons that Carson Hocevar didn't want to go there. But
Well, it's easy why Carson didn't want to go there. He drove like he didn't know what he was doing.
yeah, that's Ricky Stenhouse.
That bull was awful on
Yeah,
Sunday.
We'll speak on that a little bit later. But got a good show coming for you today. But before we get into it, Trent, how you doing?
I'm still breathing last time I checked, so I guess that's a damn shame.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
If you ask me, yep, damn shame.
Yeah, I'm all right. Worked all weekend and stayed up all night last night playing
Yep.
football and winning a championship with my Brooklyn Blue Jays.
I was about to say, how the Brooklyn Blue Jays doing?
We won a championship.
Hell yeah! What year are
Now I
you
joined
in?
the SEC.
What year are you in?
2028.
Aren't we in 2028?
Yeah,
Why can't we win?
because you suck.
That's not true.
I don't know, because we're in the same conference for the the Spartans and the Blue
do you
Jays.
sim games?
Huh?
You sim games?
The ones that, not anymore because I'm in the SEC now, but
Do you win your sim games?
the year, 2027, I lost 2 games, but I still made the playoff.
Yeah, well, we don't. We lose all of our sim games. We'll sim
I don't
against
sim a ton,
We'll
though.
sim against FCS Southeast and lose. So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
I did sim last night against Missouri, who was 0-3
it got beat.
and lost at home. I was like, oh, and I'm better than them by like 5 overall. I'm like an 87. They're like an 82. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways, I don't think I'll make the playoffs this year in the SEC. But yeah, other than that, it's all right. Drank a little too much beer last night. Probably why I didn't wake up till 4:30 this morning, or this afternoon.
What time did you go to bed?
Like 8.
Yeah. You'll have that on them big jobs.
Yeah. So last night was my one day of not having to do anything. Because now today I got the podcast and I had to go to the gym yesterday too, which I don't know what it was last night, but I didn't have it. I had chest tries and shoulders, and I struggled, man. I could barely get 285 up on the bench press.
Yeah, so I did a full upper body day yesterday before work, and they have a machine in there. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a chest press machine, but you're lying down.
Yeah, I think
so.
I
It's got individual arms on it.
Yeah. Didn't he say there's a Planet Fitness?
Probably.
Maybe. I don't
know.
remember.
But, dude, I can do 2 plates on that.
Oh, nice.
But I can't bench 2 plates. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But anyways, so I did that yesterday, strong as hell. Did some.
You should have done legs. Your ass didn't wake up.
You didn't either, jackass.
No, I was up. I don't know what you're talking about.
I worked last night.
I worked the 4 nights before that.
Wah.
While you were off all weekend.
He stood in the factory watching NASCAR. I don't want to hear it.
Bullshit. Probably might kick my ass.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But, yeah, I worked. I didn't work this weekend, but I worked yesterday and Monday. And now we're here, obviously, doing a podcast.
Now we here. Started from the bottom. Now we here.
Got today and tomorrow off. Gonna drink some beer and get ready for...
Non-alcoholic, right?
Yes. Gonna get ready for the weekend to come. Gonna be an interesting weekend at work. Obviously, it always is on the weekends. Gets hot, people start doing crazy shit. So
I stay inside.
Yeah, well,
that's the opposite. I think with me, a lot of people during the summertime they go outside and do crazy shit. When it's cold, I go outside.
yeah.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I go outside either way. I don't care. But
you go outside to go chase your dog around the neighborhood, try to find
To
her.
be fair, it's been a couple weeks since I had to do that.
It'll happen now.
Yeah.
Now that I said something.
Well, the last time that happened, I ran into your wife. She was leaving. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I had to work that night. I had taken Addison to daycare about 7 o'clock in the morning. Came home. My dumb ass left the fucking front door wide ass open. I get in the bed. I hear Ava in there drinking, and then, about an hour later, I'm kind of trying to go to sleep, kind of not trying to go to sleep.
The door open.
And I hear like birds chirping loud, way louder than they should be. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I feel a breeze coming. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I get up and look out, and my front door is just wide ass open, like wide ass open, butt naked, and
silky smooth.
Yeah, I ended up finding her about an hour later, but that was my fault. I couldn't even get mad.
Come on, intruder, let's go.
Yeah,
I'll make it easy on you.
Yeah, I couldn't even be mad at her. I was so pissed at myself for doing that shit, because what had happened was I pulled the door closed, but like I didn't pull it closed. I just kind of pulled it and let it go.
And it just
the back pressure didn't allow it to shut. So
then just kind of popped open.
Yeah, it kind of popped open. And
then the wind helped the rest of it.
Yeah. But
it's a damn shame.
She came home, unfortunately. So, anyways.
I'm not going to, I wanted to say something. Fine.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about
go ahead. Go ahead. Say it.
Rodriguez.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
At least one of the women in your life.
Hey. I'm still holding out hope.
I wanted to say the B word, but I don't want to get killed by somebody.
Yeah. But here we are. It's a NASCAR podcast. We're going to speak on some NASCAR stuff going forward.
Let's keep talking about your inability to close doors.
Yes. Yeah, well, they raced at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez this weekend.
They did.
What'd you think about that race, old Trenton?
It was okay. Obviously, the ending kind of, I don't want to say ruined it, just kind of took out all the drama that was building up to a pretty solid finish. But Shane kind of opened the floodgates up there at the end and, pulled away from Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. That was hot. Chase Elliott.
Nice and moist.
Over, 16 seconds. Biggest margin of victory in the next-gen car by a large margin. I think more than doubled it.
It's like the largest victory since like 2017.
Yeah, Truex or something.
And then the second largest since like 1996.
Yes, even in the old car, we ain't seen this type of ass whooping at the finish. And it just proves how talented Shane is, man, at these road courses. And that's why I picked him last week, giving him 2 points. It's a new track, and he's the best road course racer right there. He's the most experienced at these road courses, especially at a new track. I just figured he'd have a leg up on the competition, and I'll give credit where credit's due, man. Ty Gibbs was hanging in there right with him for most of the race, and actually thought was close to the same competitiveness as Shane, but that caution with Carson screwed him and the 54 team strategy to have a chance to maybe hold off Shane and run with Shane that last run, but I don't even think. No, we'll never know, but I think Shane was just kind of holding back the most of the race.
I agree.
And that last run, he kind of opened it up, and he just, I don't even think, even if Ty was up there, I think he would have blown his doors off. So clearly the best driver won. I don't even know if he had the best car or not. He just is the best driver. It was just a driver's ass whooping at Autodromo Rodriguez.
Hermanos Rodriguez.
I always forget that part. But, it was a decent race. I would love to see the finish be a little closer. I was happy about Chase. He was on that same strategy as Ty Gibbs. Ty, I don't know if he burnt the tires up trying to pass Ross at the beginning of that run.
Radio's rear tires were gone.
Rear tires. But Chase on that same strategy as Ty and passed him on the restart, and then he moved his way all the way up to third. And probably a couple more laps, he probably got Christopher for second. He was only about a second behind him. So I'm proud of Chase. He did about the best he could do, given the cards that were laid out on the table for him. That 9 team, they didn't screw up the strategy as bad, and it didn't go the way they probably wanted it to with that caution. But Chase was able to recover, and that's something that I've been preaching on and harping on for a while, that I need to see that out of Chase, and he did a good job, man. I'm proud of him. 3rd place, I'll take it. Chris finishing 10th. I wish he would have had a little better car. That last end of that race, he kind of just fell off a cliff. Some of the guys on the Chase and Ty Gibbs strategy, like a Michael McDowell, like a Chase Briscoe, like a William Byron, they had a little fresher tires, or maybe just Chris burned up his stuff trying to pass. He was trying to pass John Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Or no, Cole Custer.
Cole, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to pass Cole Custer there for a while, couldn't get it done, and I felt like he burned his tires up there and kind of fell back towards the end. So still got top 10, still a solid day for Chris. And then Blaney just kind of got a lot of stage points. He did a good job getting stage points, but then finished 14th. So that's all you can really ask for out of the 12 team on a road course. Road courses is not where I look for Ryan Blaney to impress me. So he did a good job getting stage points, but getting a good solid finish at the end of the day. Didn't wreck or anything like that. So that was good. But overall, I'd give this race a 7 out of 10. It was okay. There were some interesting moments throughout the field. Some beating and banging, really hard to pass like always, but you could pass. There were some passing opportunities, especially in that stadium section. Was really good passing zone. Then coming out of the stadium section, if you get on the inside of somebody without getting squeezed into the wall, has a good little passing zone as well. So overall, it was a decent race, 7 out of 10. The best driver won, and that's always good. I like Shane, so it's cool to see Shane win. And he's in the playoffs now, so yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I agree, about 7, 8 out of 10, somewhere in there. Wasn't a terrible race, wasn't a great race by any stretch of the imagination.
Don't know how your volume was cut halfway. There you go, that sounds better now. I could barely hear you. Go ahead.
Well, damn, the intro is going to be pretty light. You'll have to fix that in editing.
Yeah.
But, it was decent. One of the better road course races, in my opinion, in this car. Obviously, I think Watkins Glen last year was better. But, other than that, I can't think back on many road course races I would choose over this one. I thought it was a pretty good race. I'm obviously not a huge road course racing fan, but sometimes the races do end up producing and end up being all right. It seems like when they go to a track for the first time, that's when it's the best. Similar to back in the day, when they raced at just Watkins Glen or Sonoma, it was always pretty entertaining because some guys were good at it, some guys weren't good at it, and they didn't do it every week. Mm-hmm. So like it was kind of a breath of fresh air, But nowadays there's so many of them. All these guys are good. Even the ones that aren't good are good at it. Like Brad. Brad is not a good road course racer compared to the rest of the field. But 10 years ago he was. But now being an average road course racer isn't good enough, and I think that kind of is a drawback to road course racing. A lot of these guys are so good at it, it doesn't make for as entertaining racing as it could. So when they go to a new track like this, I do think it puts on a better show than the tracks that they usually go to because of the newness of the surface to the guys. They don't really know it. They don't really know the layout, so it makes for more mistakes. And then, of course, the rain at the beginning of the race makes it a little more interesting as well, with strategy and such. But
I don't think Kyle Busch enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think he did either. But, I will say this. I mean, obviously, Shane Van Gisbergen, the best stock car road course racer in the world. I don't think there's any debate on that. I think, given a good car at any road course, he's going to compete for the win. Given a decent car, he's going to compete for wins on road courses. And I might be a homer, but I think that's what makes Chris's, run, as far as top tens in road courses so impressive, and Chris's win last year at Watkins Glen against Shane so impressive, is because not a lot of guys can go head-to-head with Shane. You said Ty, halfway, through the race was there with him, but in all realistic, objective looking at this race, nobody had anything for him. And Chris went out there and beat him last year. Obviously, it was on a restart, but, nobody had anything.
Chris is leading, and I don't think Shane would have got to him on that restart last year.
But, it's...
Maybe, I don't know. We'll never know.
It's impressive to see guys like... I don't think anybody looks at Chris as the best road course racer out there. And to be honest, he really isn't. But he is the most consistent. And then you got Shane, who's the best. And, I think Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell have put him in that,
Bowman's pretty strong.
Yeah, Bowman's, which is surprising to me. There's a lot of guys out there that do pretty well, but Shane is just in a league of his own. I mean, like you said, won by almost 17 seconds, and was just a really impressive win by him, and really, really good race, throughout the first two stages, throughout the field, and then, behind first, it was a pretty good race in the third stage as well, behind Shane. But overall, like I said, 7, 8, somewhere in there, and I wasn't mad at it, and I'd be happy to watch another one there for sure.
Yeah, to go back on the road course thing, I think another reason why this race was solid road course standards compared to what we've been seeing is we went to COTA in beginning of March. This is middle of June, so it's been over 3 months since these guys have turned left and right. I think time matters, too, when it comes to these road course races. Like you said, back in the day, there was only 2 of them, which was not spread out a ton, but they were spread out enough because you only had 2 to where it still was uncomfortable with these drivers. And now that we're getting into the summer months, we're going to have 3 or 4 more in the next 2-3 months where these drivers are more comfortable now turning left and right, and they're back into the groove of road course racing again when they've been on ovals for 3 months straight. I don't think the racing at these other tracks, like Watkins Glen, even though Watkins Glen is a better track than Mexico City, I think it won't put on quite as good of a show. Neither will Sonoma. Neither will what's the other one in that little stretch? You got the Roval in October, but I think there's one more. But anyways, I think those road course races are going to get hurt because these drivers will be just more comfortable racing these road courses again. So, yeah. Hell yeah. Man, I do need to turn your mic off.
Hell yeah.
What you read?
A dead body found in Spartanburg.
Lucky. But yeah, I just want to point that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is it? Do we need to know? Is it somebody famous?
I think we might know him.
Huh? We might know him?
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's why I clicked on it.
Okay. Anyways, while you're looking for a person we might know that is no longer with us on planet Earth, what's next on the list?
Should they come back?
Yeah, should they come back to Autodromo
Hermanos
Rodriguez next year? I say yes. The fan, what I will say, the fan attendance and the fan energy that track gave off this weekend, even though obviously I wasn't there, but from what Amazon Prime showed and how they broadcasted the race, just how it felt all weekend, it felt like an old school, we take this with a grain of salt, like an old school Daytona 500 build-up, because how excited these fans were. I mean, there's a picture of Todd Gilliland. Todd motherfucking Gilliland.
Who?
Look, no disrespect to the guy. I've met him. I met him at the Greenville Swamp Rabbits game a couple years ago. He's a cool dude. There's not much flash in the pan there, with Todd, as far as personality goes, his on-track performance. There's not a lot. But, man, you would have thought.
Dale Sr.
That's Dale Sr. walking down there. That's Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart.
Jeff Gordon's a stretch, but
I'm a stretch you. So that was great. I loved how excited and how passionate these Mexico City fans were about NASCAR coming to this track. I would love to see how it was with Formula One, if it's kind of the same way there. But I feel like NASCAR
it's more.
It's more than that, which is fair. Formula One's a more popular motorsport in the whole world than NASCAR is. But still. I thought it was great, exciting. I would love for the only tracks you really get that at anymore, and this is the only thing from my own experiences, Bristol and Darlington. I think you still have some of that type of that passion because we down here in the South, we don't have other things. We got college football and stuff like that, but there's racing. We don't really have professional teams down here. We have more passion for the things we love because there's just less of it. So Darlington and Bristol, I think the two tracks kind of give off vibes in my personal experiences to what we saw on Sunday and even then I think they outdid most of us in the USA as far as just the passion for these drivers, a passion for NASCAR to be at that track. Like you don't see that at Michigan, you don't see that at New Hampshire South or New Hampshire, the actual New Hampshire. So like. That's cool, and that's why I think if they do come back, I'd be okay with it. It's not my first choice, but I do think now that we've got a little taste of this foreign country racing. What's that called? International racing. I think we need to continue to do it. What?
Ding, ding.
Damn. Always being extra. Oh, you getting cool over there?
It's dropped 3 degrees.
Hell yeah. Has it raining yet? No. Anyways, international racing. I would love to see them go to Canada next year, which I hear is possibly a rumor that might be going around. Rumor has it. So, but Mexico City has a place in NASCAR. Do I want them to race there every year? Probably not, but I'd be okay with a second year here. I think it did good enough to where we also had the travel problems with the teams earlier in the week getting into the track, team planes not going down, but not being able to take off. Haas factory team had to almost take the commercial flight. I think they did have to take a commercial flight to Mexico City to get all the team members there, and they come away in the top 10. It's a hell of a job by the Haas factory team there in Cole Custer to all the stuff they went through. But other teams went through it as well. So get that shit figured out a little bit for next year. You have more of a notebook to figure out figure out how all this works out. So I'd like to see it next year. I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with them coming back as well. Seemed like a decent race, like we said. The only drawback to it is the travel. I think NASCAR could do a better job on scheduling, on where these teams are coming from, because I don't know if there's a further distance they could drive from what I understand. All the haulers left from Michigan and went straight to Mexico. That's a long ass way. So at this point of the season, there are other tracks in and around this race that are a little bit further south that you could put the track at to
like Texas.
Yeah, Texas would be an easy one. Nashville, not quite as easy as Texas, but way easier than Michigan. There are a lot of tracks down towards
Talladega.
Yeah, the southern border that would make the travel a little bit easier, at least for getting the cars there. But as far as the team goes, like you said, it's just going to be, some things happen sometimes, and just getting a playbook on how you want to get it done will make it easier in the future. So, but as far as the on-track product goes, I have no complaints. I think this is more scalable and more replicable than Chicago is. I think it's more likely that you see Mexico continue on the schedule for years to come than Chicago. So, I think we will see it again next year, and I think we'll see it, at least a few more times past that. I think it worked. I think, like you said, I think the reception from the residents of Mexico City and all that was really good. Obviously, having Daniel Suarez in the field is a help in that scenario. But I don't think it's perfect. I think they could do a little bit of better job of some things as far as cautions were way too long in my opinion. Same thing that we talked about at Road America when they went there. But just a few things they can button up here and there. But overall, I would not be opposed to them coming back here next year. I think it was an overall success, and I think NASCAR will look at it like that as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you think they go to Canada? If they go to Canada, do they?
They're going to have to
Mexico?
drop. They're going to have to. Yeah, they could. They're going to have to drop a road course if they add another one, I think. And it seems like Chicago might be done. Which
I still think they want a big name city street race.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are tight enough corners in Canada to give you that street race feel. I think technically Canada is a street track. I think those are some of the roads that some of the track is public road. So they race through a park down there. I could be wrong. I could be confusing it with Australia, because I know Australia is a street track. Technically, it's a purpose-built street track. Like it is a racetrack, but they also use those roads for public as well. But I think Canada would be a good addition as well. I like the racetrack. It's one of my favorite F1 racetracks. Similar to Mexico, I like Mexico a lot in the F1 circuit as well. But I would be okay with them adding Canada as long as it wasn't an addition of road courses and subtracting away a oval. I think that there's too many road courses as it is. So I think it would have to take the place of another road course, not Watkins Glen or Sonoma. So if it took the Roval, which it won't, or Chicago, I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I think also the travel,
Coda, which it won't.
the travel things. I think if you could schedule it better to where maybe it's coming off or a week off.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier. I know you're gonna have Easter off, which I like. I've always, I want NASCAR or at least the Cup Series not to race on Easter, but Easter Sunday, but which that changes based on the year, so of when that is. So if you wanted to do a second bye week for these Cup guys, it'd be a great time. If you want to go international to Mexico, to Canada, give them 2 weeks to get ready. So the preparation for all these things wouldn't be so bad.
One of the things I wanted to bring up is that Haas is one of the teams that had trouble, right? They own an F1 team. They do this every week. So, it
is kind of funny.
I don't really understand. I get it. Sometimes things happen. And F1 doesn't race nearly as many times as NASCAR does, so the turnover is not as high. But F1 does it without any issue. You never hear about, Mercedes' cars didn't show up until, halfway through practice on Saturday. That doesn't happen. So it can be done. I don't know if it's a money thing or whatever, but getting the cars there, getting them there on time week after week after week internationally is possible. But it's I'm not a logistics professional by any means, but it seems like it can be done. It's just one of those things that you got to do more and more to get those things ironed out.
Yeah. And real quick, shout out to all the hauler drivers and all the people that had to work hard from Michigan to Mexico without taking a day off. I know that's probably very tough and grueling. And then had to go leave from Mexico, get back in the States. Not till I think I saw RFK guys or post that the hauler guys didn't get out of Mexico till like 4 or 5 in the morning, Monday morning. So I could be wrong on that. It was at night though, I know that. But yeah, just grueling for I know the race teams and so salute to all those guys. But anyways, after Mexico City, we're down to 10 races left before the playoffs get going in September at Darlington. You going?
Nope.
I don't think I'm going either.
Unless you buy me some tickets.
No, I'm not going either. I don't think I am. I'm going to that race the week before though. Daytona. But at Daytona that I should be at in end of August. Who's going to be in the playoffs? So who's feeling good? Who's feeling hot? Hot spot, hot boy?
Who's hot?
And who's not spot hot?
Well, obviously the guys that have won are all.
Well, we're not talking about those
happy.
guys.
But past that, nobody is going to be feeling good. I don't think anybody's feeling good right now. Especially you had Shane Van Gisbergen won this weekend. That bumps the cut line down. Ryan Preece is now out quite a ways, almost a full race. Chris is on the cut line right now. He can't be too excited about his prospects making it on points. Obviously, he's got some good tracks coming up. I think he'll be good this weekend at Pocono, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Atlanta. There's some tracks that Chris has got some opportunities to win. Bubba, same thing. He'll be good at Daytona. He'll be good at Atlanta. But he can't be happy, looking at the points because, AJ can still win one of these road course races. You never know who's going to win these super speedway things. Carson Hocevar has been really good on mile and a halves and super speedway stuff. So he'll have an opportunity to win. You still got Kyle Busch back there, ain't won. Brad Keselowski can win, Daytona or Atlanta. There's a lot of guys that are in trouble, that are above the cut line, and there's a couple guys below the cut line that could win any week. So I don't know. Alex Bowman's right there. I don't think he's happy. I think the only one that's if there's going to be one that makes it on points, obviously Chase Elliott hasn't, won a race yet, but he's doing really well.
146. Cut line.
He'll be fine as long as 16 winners don't happen. I think Chase Briscoe is not a lock, but I think he should be okay.
39.
But under that you got Bowman,
22 above.
you got the
Chris.
23. Or is he above Briscoe?
He's above Briscoe. He's 57 above.
Okay.
Chris is 19 above.
Yeah.
Priest.
But really the only one that will be safe is Chase, but that's also, like I said, that's dependent on how many new
Then you
winners
got
we
Reddick at 123.
I forgot about Reddick too. So Reddick and Chase are probably the happiest. Obviously, I mean that's the obvious choice.
Hopefully, don't come down to like 2022 with Blaney and
with Truex and Blaney.
Truex with top 5 points. They might one of them might miss it.
I think
none of them don't win it.
I think the goal should be for all of them. And it is, but they should all be trying to win these races. They shouldn't be points racing, because it would not. How many winners have there been now? 9?
10.
10?
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me if there are 6 new winners in the next 10 races.
Yeah, and we got a lot of. It won't happen.
But it wouldn't surprise me. You got AJ, like I said, obviously could win any of the road courses, and he's been decent enough on the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. You talking about Carson? He had a bad week this week, but we weren't. He's not a road course racer.
You got Brad back there, could win any of the super speedway stuff.
Oh. He could win. He's been decent at Pocono, hasn't he?
He's been all right.
At RFK.
You've got
Ricky.
Ricky could win any of the super speedway stuff.
McDowell could go out there and win some road course races.
I mean, he's been really fast on some of the mile and a half stuff. If he could put a race together, should have won Texas.
Kyle Busch can win.
Kyle Busch could win anywhere.
It's like Garrett Jones.
He's been fast.
Been pretty good lately.
So, there's a lot of guys back there that could win.
Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs could win anywhere.
Zane Smith.
Smith, no.
Come on, man. It wasn't his fault that Kyle Busch came in like a hurricane on him and
that's fair.
Kyle Larson.
He would have finished.
He was going to win the race if that wasn't going to happen.
He'd have finished 15th, but
Hey, that's pretty good for front row standards. Noah Gragson fucking sucks. I love him, but he sucks. So does Todd Gilliland. Nobody feels safe. Even
hey, your Lakers are getting sold.
not my Lakers.
You're a Lakers fan.
No, I'm not. Chase Elliott, 146, feeling good. Reddick, 123 to the good, feeling good. And other than that, you got Bubba, 57, Chase, 39, or Briscoe, 39. Bowman, 22, and Busher, 19. They're all above the cut line, but no, these guys feel good, especially all the tracks that are coming up in the next few weeks. Pocono, going to come down to fuel strategy easily, have a fuel mileage winner that surprises us. Atlanta, obviously Atlanta, almost anybody could win. Chicago Street Race, you got some road course ringers, and some crazy stuff could happen that could allow a crazy winner there. Sonoma, Dover. Dover's the only one, and Dover and Indy out of the next 5 or 6 that I feel like, they're straightforward winners, should happen. We've seen Indy fuel mileage winners like a Paul Menard, surprise us, so that could happen. The cut line just gets very interesting if we have one more different winner, because right now it is a decent little gap from Busher to Priest, but it's only 19. It's not a big gap, but I feel like if we get a Kyle Busch winning, or a Carson Hocevar winning, or a Ty Gibbs winning, and then it bumps Chris out as of now, and then you put that 3-horse battle with Chris, Alex, Chase, and you even throw in Bubba if he has a bad race here and there, that's when it's going to get really tight. And it's probably going to happen. It's just according to who's going to win out of these next 10 races. But because you're going to have more than these 10 winners, and I think the goal should be for everybody to win a race to guarantee yourself a spot in the playoffs. But Yeah, if we get one more winner, that's when I think the cut line gets very interesting between Chris, Alex, Chase, and Bubba. Because then at that point, probably have another winner too. So then 4 of those guys, out of the 4 guys that are kind of close on points that are above the cut line right now, I think you're going to have, I'm going to say this, I think we're going to have 14 winners at the end of the regular season.
So who wins?
So 4 winners. So that means between these 4 guys, and if it's not any of them, they're not going to make it. None of them will.
So who are the 4 guys that are going to win that haven't won yet?
Well, I'm gonna say Chase and Reddick, or 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. I'm picking one of them this weekend.
Oh, good for you.
Hopefully, depends on who you pick.
I'm gonna still hold out hope for Kyle Busch. I think he'll. I don't know though, man. Nah, fuck it, Zane Smith. He's still gonna win.
You're an idiot.
Zane Smith and Kyle Busch.
You know, one guy that neither of us talked about that was very good this weekend. Fell back on some strategy and some penalties, but Ryan Preece has not been bad.
That dude sucks.
Ryan Preece could win a race.
He hasn't won one though yet in his whole career.
It would not.
It's the same thing with him and Ty Gibbs.
Would not.
Although he's got way more starts than Ty Gibbs.
It would not surprise me if he won this weekend.
It would surprise me. This weekend, Pocono.
Roush is decent at Pocono. Chris led laps here last year.
I guarantee you I would shave my head if he wins this weekend. He's not winning this weekend. He's not winning this weekend, you dumbass.
He won't. But if he does, everybody heard it. You heard it here. Ryan Preece wins at Pocono. Trent's shaving his head.
My head will be fine. I mean, my hair's about done anyway, so fuck it. But I'm not worried that I'm going to lose it this weekend.
Which head?
You know which head. But no, I think Chris can win. If he gets in another
should have won last week
late race battle,
he's good.
Will he not make a mistake?
He wins the late race battles more often than he doesn't when he's up there fighting
Kansas
for the lead.
last year. And I love Chris Buescher, but Kansas, Darlington,
Watkins Glen,
okay, 1.
Michigan,
Okay. Richmond. Yeah.
Richmond.
You can't count Daytona.
Daytona?
That don't count.
Hey, he won it. It was a battle.
From the King's Hawaiian car.
Never heard of him.
Brad should have passed him. He still ain't.
Pocono 2014, 16.
That was on fog. Yeah, get some fog rolling in. Chris Buescher's your guy.
It's rolling in.
I don't know. I want him to win, but I don't know. Like the same thing I have about Chase. Like I think Chase might win, but he's only won one time out of the past 90 starts or whatever it is.
Gotta say, he's got one more win than me in his next gen car, I think.
He's got like 6 next gen wins.
You sure?
He won 5 races the first year.
That's right. But that's because nobody knew what they were doing.
Ah, yeah.
Same reason Kyle Busch won 3. 2?
No, he only won 1. The Bristol dirt race when Reddick and Briscoe took out each other.
Auto Club.
That was 2023.
It was the next gen car.
Yeah, I thought you were just talking about the first year of this car.
That was the first year of this car.
22 was.
No, he won it in 22, my guy.
He was still at JGR in 22. Dumbass.
Time out.
Oh my God, here we go.
Was it not? Did he not come to? He raced in the next gen car at JGR.
Yeah, we were at Darlington when he blew up leading. Remember, we all went crazy in the stands.
That was not in the old car.
No, it was not.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
Who won that race?
Eric Jones.
Mr. Jones and me.
God almighty. How do you forget 3 years? How do you forget when his car came out?
I feel like he's been
You
there.
can't do that.
I feel like he's been there longer than that.
No, he hasn't.
He won it his first year at
RCR.
RCR,
Yes,
that's right.
2023. You are correct. That was the race right before Chase broke his leg.
And he won Bristol Dirt at JGR.
That's it. In the next gen.
And then 3 races his first year at RCR.
Ain't one since.
Which was Auto Club,
Talladega,
which, whatever.
Gateway.
And Gateway. Which he shouldn't have won Gateway.
No, he should have won Gateway.
No, he shouldn't have.
He should have won Talladega.
Yeah, who should have won that race?
Ryan Blaney.
No.
Realistically, Bubba Wallace. He wrecked himself trying to block Blaney 17 lanes wide.
Was that the year that Brad sped on pit road?
Probably. Sped on pit road every
year.
Yeah, road course, every other super speedway. But anyways, do you agree with my assessment? 4 different, more
I
winners?
think 4 is a good number. I just think you have the wrong people. I don't think Chase is going to win a race. He has a
Briscoe?
big. I don't. You're right. I don't think Chase Elliott's going to win a race either. He's just not shown race-winning speed anywhere other than this weekend and, where else? I think there's one other track, Martinsville, which...
Iowa is very similar to... Kind of similar.
I mean, it is...
And you got road courses. You got Chicago. He ain't been great at Chicago.
Yeah, but
Sonoma.
He's not been...
Watkins Glen, that used to be his playground.
This weekend was an outlier for him. He's not been a good road course. He's been a good road course. He's not been a great road course racer in this next-gen car. He hadn't won a single race in the next-gen car at the road course.
Yeah, he still got like an 8th place average finish, I think.
I just don't trust that team to win a race. So I think...
That's how I feel about Chris. I love Chris.
See, I think Chris wins.
I hope so, but...
I think Chris wins.
Got Dover. Chase been good at Dover.
I think Reddick wins. I think AJ wins.
Well, yeah, you had him in the playoffs. You got to do that. Zane Smith. Carson.
No.
Kyle.
No. You're going to hate me for doing this. You're going to
Michael.
say I'm a homer.
Priest is not winning.
No, I think Brad's going to win.
Oh.
I think Brad's going to win either Daytona or
He gonna
Atlanta.
He gonna have to.
I think he's gonna. I really do. Seeing how that team has bounced back from,
Oh, yeah. Where he finished this weekend? 25th?
he was decent.
Never saw him all day.
He was all right. I was paying
Never saw
attention.
him.
He was all right. There was some times where he was okay. Him and Ricky got into it a little bit, but
Not as much as Ricky and Carson.
to be fair, that was Ricky's fault. They blamed it on Brad, but it was Ricky's fault. But, I think Brad wins. I do. I think there's some good tracks coming up for him.
So that means Priest don't make the playoffs
No.
in your scenario.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
He'd have to catch.
He'd have to win.
Yeah, he'd have to
I think
win.
he's got to win anyway.
He'd have to catch Chase. He ain't catching Chase.
No.
Or he wouldn't have to catch Chase.
Which, to be fair, I mean, he should have like 40 more points than he has because, he got disqualified for having missing a washer on his fucking deck lid at Talladega, but whatever. But, it's, we could be completely wrong. You fucking Ty Gibbs and Eric Jones, and there's guys back there that can win races that nobody it would be surprising to. So it's going to be interesting to see the last 10 races. It's going to be a chase for the playoffs. We used to have the last 10 races of the year with a chase for the Nextel Cup. Now you got the chase to the playoffs. These last 10 races, and I think it's going to be very interesting on who ends up making it.
Yeah, I do like the way the schedule is to some extent. I wish there were a couple less road course races in these last 10 races, but it's a very good balance of got a couple shorter tracks in Iowa and Dover. Then you got 2 super speedways in Daytona and Atlanta. Then you got 3 road courses in, 2 road courses in Sonoma. No, 3. Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and Chicago. And then you got an intermediate-esque in Pocono and Indy. So it's a very good balance of all these tracks to where you got to be good. You got to be a very finesse and very...
Brad's good at Indy.
Huh?
Brad's good at Indy.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel there last year on the restart. Ryan Blaney should have won that race. Bunch of bullshit. But yeah, I just like the way the schedule is for these last 10. You take out a road course, put in like an intermediate or something, and it'd be perfect. So I do like the way they set up the schedule for the last 10 before the playoffs. Yeah, man, drink all my beer.
You'll buy more.
And drink all the big... You're going to buy some.
I bought some last week.
Oh, hell no. The one time you bought some. Who's bought the other 50?
Me.
When? Naysayer?
RTC.
Ripping the topics.
Ripping the topics. This just in. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders cited for driving 101 miles per hour early Tuesday morning, according to police records.
Damn, was he? I thought he played for Colorado, not Georgia.
Damn.
RTT ripping the topics. What we got?
Ripping the topics. Ripping the topics.
Hey, Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders cited for driving 101 miles per hour early Tuesday morning.
I didn't know about it. Thank you for letting me know. Ricky versus Carson. So obviously a couple weeks ago, Carson spun Ricky. They had a talk on the phone. He said, hey, man, better not happen again. Well, guess what?
It happened
It
again.
happened again. Carson Hocevar lap down. Gets in there a little hot. I can't remember what corner it was. I think it's entering
through the stadium section.
entering the stadium section there. Gets in a little hot. Of course, guess who's right in front of him? Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Spun him out. Kind of ruined his day, which he wasn't having a great day anyway. But that late in the race, you get spun out. It's kind of over for you. After the race on pit road, Ricky gets out of the car, walks into the window, sticks his head in the window, says, when we get back to the United States, I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass. And Carson's just like, yeah, man, I know. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Which this is not the only controversy Carson was involved in this weekend. But, you know.
This is on the lighter side, I guess.
Yeah. Most of the comments I see on all the videos that NASCAR and everybody else is posting is like, Ricky does this shit all the time. Not really. I mean, like, there's like 2 or 3 instances of Ricky doing some dumb shit. Like, a lot of people point to that night race at Daytona, 2017?
No, 18.
18? Where he wrecked Kyle Busch and, you know, like, a lot of that shit's just racing, you know? And, you know, I can't really think of a lot of, you know, Ricky Stenhouse type deals going on, you know. He's got the nickname, but I think that's just people putting a moniker on him. I can't, especially here recently, like he doesn't get into guys that often. And so people are saying like this is hypocritical coming from Ricky, but even if it is, like, you know, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Same thing used to happen back in the day. Dale Earnhardt would get into you, move you up the fence, you know, whatever. And then, yeah, as soon as you get into him, he gets out the car. That sumbitch needs to be fined or fired or suspended. It's just kind of what happens. So, like, I don't really get that argument. Additionally, from there, like, Ricky's right on this one. Like, you're a lap down. What are you doing? Like, why? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. This is the part of Carson's racing that needs to be refined, because there's no reason for him to be putting himself in a situation to get into somebody there. You're a lap down. Get the fuck out of the way. You've got nothing to gain. And, you know, he didn't do it. And, you know, he's making trouble for himself where, you know, if he's leading the race at Atlanta or Daytona, you know, coming down to it, and Ricky's behind him, he ain't going to push him. And, you know, if Ricky's a lap down and Carson's leading the race at Indy coming to the white, Ricky ain't getting out of the way. Like, you're making it harder on yourself for no reason. I get it if you're racing for the win, put the bumper to the guy, get him out of the way, go win the race. I get it. But racing for 53rd, a lap down, a guy you're not even going to get a pass on because he's a lap ahead of you, you know, going in there that hot doesn't make any sense. And, you know, he's earned one. And if Ricky gets him back, I think NASCAR should stay out of the way, because Carson's earned it. He's earned one. And, I'm not saying he needs to right hook him into the fucking tunnel turn at Pocono this weekend. Obviously not, but Carson's earned one, and he deserves to get a little payback. And I think Ricky's the guy out there that's going to do it. And there's a couple other guys I think that would levy that payback. I think Denny would do it. I think
Joey.
Ross, Joey, those guys would do it. But Ricky's on that list, and I think he's made an enemy of the wrong guy, because Ricky has an ability to make it very difficult on Carson, because Carson and Ricky run around each other
A lot. Well, not a lot.
Enough.
Yeah.
And, at the tracks that Carson's good at, if Ricky's not good, he's going to be bad. So Carson's going to be trying to lap him at some point. And at the tracks that Ricky's good at, he'll be running around Carson. Mm-hmm. And they'll be together. They'll be side by side. They'll be, in line together at Talladega or at Daytona and Atlanta. So, he's made an enemy of the wrong guy. And, Kyle Busch can attest to that. Those two have had trouble since that race at Daytona in 2018. So, I think Carson needs to button some things up. I think he's getting some heat for some things that he shouldn't be getting heat for, but I think this one's deserved as far as on-track stuff.
Yeah, I do understand the sentiment of, well, Ricky's done this stuff before. To a degree, he's, like you said, not to maybe this extent. However, it doesn't really matter. If you run over somebody 2 times in 4 weeks,
you're going to get it back.
And you haven't done nothing to him, you're going to get it. I mean, there's no reason to go, well, Ricky done it. It doesn't matter. This is a completely different situation than what he did to Kyle Busch in 2018 or what he did to whoever and whenever year when he was racing at Roush. It doesn't matter. This is between 2 guys, and one guy has gotten booted out of the way twice from the same guy.
For no reason. Both times.
Which the Nashville thing you said was really not that big of a deal.
It wasn't.
But now it is.
Yes.
Because what happened in Mexico City, that's what you're referring to. People go, well, you didn't have a problem with it 2 weeks ago. What changed? That's what they're going to say. So, this is a time where Ricky 100% should get Carson back, and Carson should not be mad about it, because it should happen and it's going to happen. Ricky is a guy that will do something about it, and Carson's got to learn. And I've been saying this for weeks, until somebody does something about Carson's reckless driving and how they don't respect him. Kyle Busch talks shit about him. Blaney's talk shit about him. Ross talks shit about him. Until one of these guys do something, then he's going to keep doing it. Ricky might be the golden child for the rest of the field to do something about Carson, because Ricky's not the guy you really want to mess with. I just remember in 2018 at Chicago practice,
Ricky stuck his head in the window.
Ricky stuck his head in Kyle Busch's car and pretty much said, "You keep talking shit, I'm going to beat your ass." After he wrecked Kyle. That was funny.
It was great.
Yeah. Kyle won the fucking race, though, that weekend, where Ricky was like 20th. But Kyle got the last laugh on that one. But, yeah, Ricky will get him back. Maybe it might not be on the racetrack. Maybe he's going to wait Friday or Saturday when the fucking garage opens, and he goes down there and whoops Carson's ass before practice starts. Probably not.
I doubt it.
That would be great. He might be whooping his ass right now. You see him down there at a dive bar in Charlotte, sees that number 3 truck. He goes up there and he's like, "Oh hell yeah, here we go! I'm about to go to jail tonight." I hope Ricky does not do that. I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying it could happen. Ricky's the type of guy that would do something like that. Carson's got to learn how to back it down on certain drivers. Really, everybody. But like I said, I don't want him to back it down too much to where he's not fast anymore, because he's a hell of a talent. He's just got to learn how to. Like you said, learn some race craft at some point. You're a lap down. There's no reason to drive it in balls deep into the stadium section with 10 to go, 15 to go, whatever it was. to the same guy that you dumped 3 weeks ago. It's not the best idea. Just kind of back it off. Just kind of get to the finish line. You had a terrible day anyway. Just spun out a couple times. He calls the caution that's flipped the strategy and screwed Ty Gibbs and all these other guys, which that shouldn't affect how you drive. If I spin out here, I'm going to affect the other drivers. That is not what I'm saying. You drive for you drive for your race team. That's what I do respect about Carson. He just goes overboard sometimes. He tries too hard in certain situations where he doesn't need to do that. So, yeah, Carson's going to have his court date, and Ricky's he'll be the judge on how it goes and when it goes down. You just better hope for Carson doesn't happen at a time where Carson, like I said, could be possibly trying to get his first win at Iowa, and he's trying to lap Ricky with 10 to go. And because a lot of these situations happen like that. And Ricky just makes his life a living hell, runs him off the track. Here comes Ryan Blaney to win the race. Yeah. I'm putting that in the
Chris Buescher.
Or Chris Buescher or Chase Elliott. Either one of them. Yeah.
Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski.
No, this is my thing. Don't be taking my thing. I'm putting it in the ether. Don't you be taking it. So, yeah. Carson will get it done or get one coming to him, and we'll just see how it goes. Xfinity. Who got the Xfinity fastest lap Sunday? 30 lap down Kyle Larson.
Oh, you said Sunday.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Saturday. I was like, I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Probably Connor Zillage or Ty Gibbs or something. But did you do, real quick, this is not on their ripping topics. Steve Letarte seemed to have a big problem with that. About Kyle Larson, who's 30 plus or multiple laps down, getting the fastest lap.
The rule's the rule. I'm fine with it. I don't see an issue.
So you don't think it should be a thing where you got the fastest lap of the race, but you got to be on the lead lap or something like that? Don't matter.
I mean, I'd be okay if they made that rule, but that's not the rule.
It's the point. It is one point. So
it is, and
Larson lost the regular season championship last year
and that incentivized guys to fix their car. So anything to incentivize guys to get back out there and compete, I'm good for. So. Okay. But yeah, Xfinity race on Saturday. Connor Zillage, Ty Gibbs kind of dominated. Strategies got flipped, and Daniel Suarez ended up in the lead. And,
they had a big wreck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Strategies got flipped. Then they had a big wreck. 9 car took the lead and never saw him again. So. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, the main takeaway I have for this, and you might take it in a different direction, but a lot of people online that I've seen are commenting, the race was fixed, and, you're an idiot. You're something I can't say because it'll get us banned on TikTok. But
a DARF.
Yeah. You are what people used to refer to as mentally challenged or slow. Mm-hmm. That word that starts with an R, that is you. If you believe that the race was fixed, and I believe that if they were going to fix anything, Chase Elliott would be winning a lot more. I believe that
Kyle Busch would be winning more.
Kyle Busch would be winning more.
Pretty he's polarizing at least.
I believe that Daniel Suarez would have had a better day on Sunday. And I don't get it because Junior Motorsports, some of the best cars in the field. Obviously, the 9 car wasn't the best car in the field. The best cars took each other out, and it kind of fell into his lap. So I don't really see how you could say the race was fixed. Now, people are pointing to some radio traffic. Who was in second?
Taylor Gray.
Apparently, somebody heard somebody on Taylor's, radio saying stay away from the 9. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he was told to back off, and if he was, I don't.
Well, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what the scenario was on that, but this race wasn't fixed. Racing isn't fixed. It's too hard to fix. There's too many variables.
And it's not like you had Justin Allgaier behind him that's won 3 races this year that's already in the playoffs. Taylor Gray needs to win this race.
Yes.
Needed to win that race.
Yeah,
he's on the cut line.
yeah,
He's still below the cut line in the playoffs in the Xfinity Series.
The race wasn't fixed.
It doesn't make no sense.
The 9 car didn't deserve to win the race by any means. I'm not saying that he did.
He did a good job with recharge, though, getting himself in position.
Sure.
To
he
have a
did
chance.
his job, and he won the race, and that's all you can ask for. Was he the best car? No. Was he the best driver? No. But
Cool story.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, he's in one of the better cars in the field. He's a Cup regular, better than a lot of the guys in the field, more experience. And, you know, these things happen. Whenever you have Cup guys in the Xfinity field, they usually do pretty well. You know, Ross runs pretty well in that 17 car.
Not 17, the 9.
Yeah, he runs. That's right. He runs the 9. William Byron runs pretty well in 17. Bowman,
Chase Elliott,
Larson. Those guys run okay. Usually compete for the win.
Ty
Gibbs is always good when he's in the Xfinity Series. Like, Cup guys usually do pretty well. I mean, you think back a couple years ago that Denny was running Darlington every year in the Xfinity Series and fucking winning the race every year. Now, granted, as Denny Hamlin, not Daniel Suarez, but, you know, still, I mean, Daniel Suarez is a Cup driver. He's got a lot more experience than these guys, and he's in one of the better cars in the field. Yeah, he's going to be competitive. So, race obviously wasn't fixed. Great story. I was rooting for him. I was hoping he'd do well. I was hoping he'd do better on Sunday. Obviously, I picked him. I thought he would do better on Sunday. Just didn't work out for him. But obviously, I'm not a Daniel Suarez fan, but I do root for a good story, similar to what I said a couple of weeks ago with Kyle in the Indy 500. I root for a good story, and it was a great story watching him win in his home country, first race there in 20 years, and you know, it was good to see. And I think it's low hanging fruit. I think it's a bad take to say, oh, this race was fixed, because it's just I mean, it so obviously wasn't. And you know, I like that Daniel won, and I'm proud of him, and you know, I think it was a good story, and it was a good race.
Yeah, you kind of get a taste of what Chase Elliott deals with, and a Chase Elliott fan and myself. A lot of times when he would win, they'd say, "Oh, this race is rigged for Chase." I'd be like, "You just have no idea."
I will say this: now they do throw some phantom cautions to help
They-
Chase Elliott out.
Oh.
Hashtag Charlotte Roval. Hashtag Charlotte Roval.
No, they didn't black flag him. That's what it
That's
was.
what it was.
Yeah, that one was a little on the nose. I will give you that one. But yeah, I'm used to hearing the rig stuff with being a Chase fan. So yeah, obviously it wasn't. The race itself was decent. Connor and Ty put on a hell of a show there for a while. They were the 2 best drivers, and nobody in the field could really compete with those 2 guys until they ultimately took each other out there. And even then, Carson Hocevar had a good day too till that wreck. He got taken out because when Ty Gibbs broke, and he just kept going straight and turned Carson, because Carson would have been in second, and I think he had a better car than Daniel Suarez all day.
He probably would have won.
He would have won the damn race if that didn't happen. So that sucked for me because, you know, I'm a Carson Quaffle fan. So I think he only was able to get back to like 20th or something, 15th, whatever. He had a rough start. He's had a rough rookie campaign in that one car, but I'm still holding out hope he'll win a race. But overall, the race itself was decent. It probably a little underwhelming. Got a little messy, especially with that big wreck. But, you know, you'll have that on those big jobs. And the Xfinity Series is not the most, you know, they're not the most finesse drivers in the field. That's what you had the Martinsville fiasco. You've had a couple messy road course races in the Xfinity Series the past couple of years. It's because these younger guys, they just kind of go for broke. They don't know where the limit is, and you kind of saw that there. But not nearly as bad as what you usually see. So, yeah, it was overall a decent race. Obviously, the story of Daniel winning was awesome. I was cheering for him there at the end, hoping Taylor Gray wouldn't do what Sammy Smith did to him at Martinsville, which I'm glad he didn't. He drove it in there pretty damn deep, but he didn't just take him out, which was the smart thing to do. I don't think Taylor Gray would have got out of that racetrack alive if he would have done that. So overall, decent race, decent finish. Probably a little bit left to be desired. I thought it was a little underwhelming, but overall, it's a decent race.
Yee.
Dale Jr. making his debut. What are we talking about here?
Well,
He come back to race?
he's crew chiefing this weekend at Pocono.
It's one of his better racetracks as a driver.
Yeah. Apparently, for whatever reason, I don't think they got a backup crew chief down there at Junior Motorsports.
Maybe Junior just said, fuck it, I want to try it.
That's probably what happened. One of the best comments I saw under NASCAR's post about it was that, Junior's just doing side quests right now, which is fair point. But he's crew chiefing this weekend.
He is doing some lot of crazy stuff these
He's
days.
crew chiefing, which is just, I think it's awesome. I think he'll be a fine crew chief.
He's gonna be a spotter. He has been a spotter, hasn't he, for somebody?
I'm sure he has.
He spots for. He used to spot for Carson in the car store, I think, or maybe not. I don't remember. He used to spot for somebody. Anyways, go ahead.
Maybe, but
For Josh, maybe it was Josh Berry used to spot for.
But it's the one thing that I'll say is a crew chief's responsible for adjustments, and I'm not ignorant to the fact Dale Jr. knows how to set up a race car. I'm not saying he doesn't, but is he as good at it as some of the engineers he's got working for him at Junior Motorsports? Probably not. But with that being said, again, cool story. I root for a cool story. I would like to see this work. I'm not saying Junior needs to be a fucking full-time crew chief, obviously. But I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to make another element of the race interesting to watch. And we'll see how it goes. I think Connor Zilic will be fast. I mean, obviously, he'll be fast. He's fast everywhere. Do I think he's going to win the race? Probably not. But, I think he'll be competitive. And I think what would be really cool if Junior makes a crazy-ass call, late caution comes out.
Wins the race.
Late caution comes out. He puts 2 tires on it when everybody else puts 4. Puts Zilic in the lead, and Zilic goes out and wins the race. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, people, it's fixed. Whatever. But I think the 88 getting a good finish this weekend would be a cool story.
Yeah, I think I like Dale Jr. I feel like this is a little bit of a publicity stunt, just a little bit, whether he's trying to do it on purpose or not. Because there's obviously better guys to do this weekend than Dale. But at the end of the day, it's Junior Motorsports. It's not Chevy Motorsports. It's not Hendrick Motorsports, which a lot of their equipment is from Hendrick. But it's Junior Motorsports. Dale can do whatever the fuck he wants, as long as he gets approval from his sister, fucking Kelly. It's honored. Go for it. So I don't have a problem with it. I hope it turns out well. Will it turn out well? I don't know. I feel like when Connor's saying something and Dale's just like, yeah, I know you're talking about there, but we're gonna put about 4 pounds in the left rear, and then he just goes and falls back to 25th or something. I hope it doesn't happen, but it definitely could. But I think Dale's not gonna be the only one making calls. He's gonna have tons of help from the car chief, from the crew, from his normal crew chief, who's he's suspended. So he'll get help from everybody. He's just gonna be the quote unquote crew chief for this weekend. But what I think he ought to do is, you remember one of Dale's one of the more funnier stories on his podcast that I've ever heard is when they were at Pocono and he was terrible, and they brought him down pit road. Remember this with Tony Uri Jr. and they put him down pit road, and they're fixing the car, and he takes back off, and that car just bouncing because they undid the shocks or something. I feel like Dale should do that to Connor this weekend just to fuck with him at practice or something. That'd be hilarious. How's that car feel? It motherfucking bouncing something ain't right. That would be great. Now, the cars completely are different now than they were back in the day. That'd be hilarious. Dale does something like that to fuck with Connor at practice or something. He won't do it, but that would be funny. But it'd be a cool story, and I hope they do well this weekend. If it works this weekend, he needs to go be crew chief for that one car, get him in the playoffs. He's in the playoffs right now, but he needs to win a race.
Carson sucks.
You suck. SVG playoff debate. So, Shane Van Gisbergen wins in Mexico City this past weekend, which means he locked himself in the playoffs. He was 33rd in Cup Series points. Now he's automatically in. A lot of people have a problem with it. Going back to the Harrison Burton thing last year, winning Daytona after being 30th in points, people had a problem with it. Riley, where do you stand on this?
I think I'll be consistent in saying that I don't think he deserves to be in the playoffs. He is, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be based on the rules, but back in the day, it used to be, the top 10 drivers made it on points, and then there was like 2 wild card positions back in the chase, and then, they went to the 16 drivers, and then they went to the win and you're in stuff. And
they went to the 16 drivers with the win and you're in.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, I get the theory. I do, and when it was first, inaugurated, I was okay with it. But the more that this goes, the longer it goes, the less happy I am with it.
Well, we had a problem with it when it first came out. Like, this is some bullshit here. You don't even have to be in the top 30 because it used to be top 30 in points.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when it first
Now
came
it's
out,
nothing.
it used to be top 25. You had to be top 25. You win a race, you're in. And I was okay with it. Then it was top 30, and I was like, it's kind of bullshit. Like, you're going to have guys like Harrison Burton winning races and making the playoffs. And that's what happened last year. And now it's, if you race every race, you win a race, you're in. Mm-hmm. And now you got guys like Shane Van Gisbergen that are going to be in the playoffs, which I like Shane. And, I want him to do well. But is he a playoff driver? No. Who do you think would is going to fare better in the playoffs? Him or Ryan Preece? Ryan Preece. Who do you think is going to fare better? Him? Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher. Him or Ty Gibbs? Ty Gibbs. Him or Brad Keselowski? Brad Keselowski. It's Brad Keselowski. Like, obviously, Brad had some bad luck at the beginning of the season, but, like, Shane didn't wreck a lot.
He was only ahead of him by, like, 10 points coming into this weekend.
And Shane doesn't have near as many DNFs as Brad does. Brad wrecked every week.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, my point is like, you want the best of the best competing for your championship. You don't want Mickey Mouse championships like you say Joey Logano got last year. You don't want, guys winning and, by no fault of their own. If he runs 20th every week in the first round and everybody in front of him blows up, he's moving on. Mm-hmm. And that's just not right to me. Like, you got guys like Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell and the 24. Like, these guys are playoff drivers. They're the guys that should be competing for the championship. I don't think Chris Buescher deserves to be in the running for the championship. I don't think Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece, Chase Elliott. Like, I don't think maybe Chase Elliott based on, average.
Fourth in points.
But, like, there's a lot of guys out there that are going to make the playoffs already that I don't think.
Josh Berry.
Yeah, these guys are not.
Austin Cindric.
These guys are not championship-worthy drivers. They should not have an opportunity to win the championship. And, right now, I think there's 4 guys that deserve to be, considered for the championship. I think it's the 5, the 11, the 24, and the 20.
What about the 12?
You could argue the 12 and the 9. Maybe you got 6. But, like, those top 4 are the 4. Like, those are the best 4 drivers in NASCAR this year. And if one of those 4 guys doesn't win a championship, it's a travesty. Because they're the best drivers. They have been the best drivers this year, halfway through the year, and they will probably be the best drivers the rest of the year.
Was the 22 one of the 4 best drivers last year?
Obviously not, and that's why I disagree with this championship format. Now, he won it fair and square.
Yeah. I will say this. I do not like that Shane is automatically in the playoffs, being 33rd in points coming into this race. Now he's 30th. So even in the old system, as of right now, he'd be in the playoffs because he is 30th in points now after winning the stage and winning the race. He jumped a couple guys in points. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. It's been said. I don't think it's right. However, I think this was way more of a deserving winner than Harrison Burton last year at Daytona. Similar point situation. Daytona, he led, I think, the last lap. And he was just kind of it's Daytona. It's kind of shit can hit the fan, can kind of go crazy at any point. So it's kind of a lot less out of the driver's hands in those races compared to this weekend. I mean, literally Shane Van Gisbergen won by almost 17 seconds to second place. He was done with his burnout as Alex Bowman was coming in the cooldown lap, and Alex Bowman finished 4th. It's different. I get it. It's kind of the same, but it's not. Shane is a way more deserving playoff driver this year based off this race than Harrison Burton was last year. Then you can even argue, maybe not to an extent, but you can argue Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 2023 when he won the Daytona 500 and really never heard from him again the rest of the year. Like, I get it. It's kind of the same, but it's not. The way he won that race and the way you win races matters. Now, if Shane goes out there and wins another race, I think it kind of puts all this to bed because I've always felt anybody can kind of luck into a win. It's hard to luck into 2 in the same season. And Shane didn't even luck into this win. He just beat everybody's ass, which I feel like it's a little different compared to everything else. The format, I still hate the format. I still think it's stupid. But based off the format, I think he deserves to be in the playoffs. And the way he did it was way more impressive than anybody's ever done that far back in points to win a race and make the playoffs. Like I said, he'd go out and do this at Chicago. He'd go out there and do this at Sonoma, Watkins Glen. Will he? Probably not to that extent. But he could definitely win one of those races. He could win all 3 of them. He could have 4 wins going into the playoffs. And he'd be 26th in points because he kind of ran 25th the other road course races before the playoffs. And people still have a problem with it. But it's a little different when you got 2 wins compared to 1. I think if he wins another race, I think it's kind of a non-issue because it's hard to win 2 races in a season. You can kind of luck up and get 1, but 2 is kind of difficult. And I think he probably will win another road course race before the playoffs starts. Where do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think he probably will as well. I just...
Do you think it matters the optics of how you win? Because I think the optics of how you win with Shane winning this weekend was completely different from how I felt at Harrison Burton winning Daytona last year.
I think if they want to make winning more important, they can do that. I just don't think it should qualify you for the playoffs. Like, if you want, if you're going to do 43 points for the winner, whatever, I can't remember exactly what the points are, but, if you want to, what they should do is, you win a race, you get 100 points, and then you get 50 for second, and, go down from there. Make it more points for winning.
That's fair.
That will incentivize the winning without qualifying stupid people for the playoffs.
Nick, if you get 100 points for a win, but you run like shit the rest of the year, it's really not going to help you.
It'll help you. It'll help you finish 25th instead of 30th.
Yeah.
But it won't qualify you for the playoffs. And if you're 16th on the cutoff line and you're 5 points ahead of 17th, and you're only 20 points below 10th, you might go out there and try to win a race based on that. And I think that's how they should incentivize winning. You should just get more points than you do. instead of saying,
But then you'd have a way bigger gap to the regular season championship because the guys that win would just
hey,
completely pull away.
maybe you should take away the playoffs and you wouldn't have that problem.
That's fair.
But, whatever. I mean, they're not going to change it because it's...
So if Cody Ware comes out this weekend and dominates Pocono, he's not. But he goes out there and dominates Pocono, does it not feel different from Harrison Burton winning Daytona?
No. Because neither of them deserve to make playoffs.
Okay. I think it matters how you do it.
I don't.
Like, I don't know. Well, if you win 2 races, though, does it change? 2 races is like, it's hard to win 2 races.
Sure. Yeah.
William Byron, the points leader, still not won 2 races this year. He's won a race.
That's better. That's better. Obviously, that's better. But William Byron doesn't have 2 wins this year. If Josh Berry goes out and wins 2 races and we have 16 winners, Josh Berry makes it and William Byron doesn't?
William Byron's won.
But I'm saying if you make it 2 wins and you're in, and you have 16, 17 winners, and, for whatever reason,
Chase Elliott never wins.
I don't think you should get an automatic bid for the playoffs ever. Like, it should be
Unless
points.
you clinch it on points.
It should be points. That's it. If you're going to have a playoff format, it should be points.
Okay. I feel like if you have more than 1 win, I'd be okay with just 2 wins. All right, you can be in the playoffs because you've shown that ability to win races.
And that's,
1 race is kind of...
It's obviously better than 1.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Like, I would take it over 1. But in a perfect world, I don't think there should be an automatic.
I think you do automatic if you win more than a race, not just 1. If you win multiple races, that incentivizes you to go out there and try to win races still, even if you can't just take off a week or whatever. But also in the top 5 in points. If you're in the top 5 in points, you don't have to win a race. You're automatically in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Attaboy.
Attaboy.
Attaboy, Tom. Who's your attaboy?
Well, I don't know how you give it to anybody other than Daniel
Carson.
Suarez. Yeah, no, Daniel Suarez, obviously, he did what he had to do on Saturday. Obviously, Sunday not being taken into account, but Saturday had a rough start to the day, crashed in qualifying, tore up his car, had a plain black car with some sponsors on it. Starting the race on Sunday, starting from the rear because of the wreck, and methodically kind of worked his way up through there during the first stage. Had some pit strategy, got him some track position. Obviously, let the guys that were faster than him take themselves out, and went on and won the race in his home country, which is awesome. Whenever you have a race where people are saying it's rigged, it's a good thing because it's a good story. And they wouldn't say it was rigged if somebody that, nobody gives a fuck about, or
Taylor Gray.
Somebody that,
Won the race.
it doesn't matter, won the race. Like, it's a good story. And, I think, I'm not going to give a religious sermon out here or anything, but I think that certain things happen at certain times for certain people for a reason. And I think that the reason that Daniel Suarez won this race is because Daniel Suarez needed to win this race. And, I think that's what happened on Sunday or Saturday. And, you think back to Junior. Now, obviously, this is not as sentimental, at least to me, but to some people it might be. But you think back to Junior winning the 01 July race at Daytona. Like, there was some divine intervention in that, I believe.
Which people say that race was rigged.
Exactly. And there's some divine intervention in that.
If that race was rigged, Tony Stewart didn't get the memo. That boy was trying to win that race.
Exactly. I think there's some divine intervention in 2001 in Daytona, and I think there's some divine intervention here in Mexico City for some reason on Sunday. Obviously, I don't know what it was or what the purpose was, but I think Daniels Suarez was the one that was supposed to win this race, and he did. And all he could do is his job, and that's what he did. And he went out there and got to win. So I was happy to see it. I was really happy for him. I was happy for the Mexico City crowd that was there. Got to see their guy win the race. And I think it's a good thing for the sport that he won. I think it's a good thing for him that he won. I think it was a good thing for the fans there that he won. So all in all, I don't know how you can be mad at it unless you're a Taylor Gray fan or a Connor Zilic fan or a Ty Gibbs fan. But if you're a fan of people and you're a fan of NASCAR and whole, I think this is a good thing. So, attaboy Daniel Suarez for getting it done on Saturday.
Yeah, you went deep on that one. My attaboy from Mexico obviously won't be that deep. I'm going to give it to Alex Bowman, top 5, after that horrendous, hard hit at Michigan. And his back, he's had back problems. He broke his back a couple of years ago. That back is still not great. He talked about it. Like, all week he could barely move and couldn't hardly get out of the bed, and went down to Mexico City and just kind of laid in the bed all day until it was time to practice and qualify, then go back and lay in the bed, and couldn't really help with the team on debriefing with the car and all that stuff because he was in so much pain. And, man, that's a gritty performance, especially at a road course, new track. Didn't get a lot of sim time throughout the week because of how bad he was in pain with his back. To come away with a top 5 is, I'm not a huge Alex Bowman fan. I respect him. But, man, he did a great job on Sunday getting a top 5 for that race team, and a time where they needed a good race for them because, like I said, they've been struggling with wrecks the past 6 weeks, getting terrible finishes, falling from 3rd to 15th or like 12th or 13th in the regular season championship. Now he's on the cut line or near the cut line now. It's just been a bad couple months for Bowman, and then that wreck hurts his back again. And he goes out there and gets a top 5 in Mexico City. Is very impressive. So, attaboy Alex Bowman, that whole race team, man. They gritted it out all weekend and did a great job. Top 5 when you can hardly move at a road course where you're, it's not a smooth track. It's pretty rough and road courses on them bumps and stuff like that. It'll take a toll on your back, especially with the next gen car. These drivers talk about the bumps and stuff are way harder in this car than it was in the previous car. So, yeah, tough performance for Alex Bowman and team, and hopefully he starts feeling better. Yeah, great job for Alex Bowman in that 48 team.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Other end of the spectrum, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Hit that button.
Hit it.
You can't do that. My you can't do that this weekend. I'm going to give it.
Never heard of him.
I'm going to give it to Riley Herbst for almost killing himself off
Yeah, that was on my list as well.
of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Front bumper. Riley Herbst gets dumped by William Byron, which is rare. Which Riley was having a pretty damn good race. The best race of the season, I think, for him. Running top 15 most of the day. Then him and Byron, I don't know if he just was, made Byron mad, cutting him off, or just making it really hard to pass. And Byron just said, screw this, I've had enough of you. Dumped him. But he's sitting right there before you get to the stadium section. It's kind of a blind corner. not as a blind corner as the other ones. But he spun around. You got some cars going past him. And he whips it back around, and he comes within a dick length of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just T-boning him to death. That was a crazy incident. I get what Riley's doing because you got to try to get back going as quick as you can when you know it's not a caution, and you got it fired back up because it's so hard to pass. You don't want to lose your track position, especially you're having one of your better days of your season, and then you get dumped by William Byron. You're frustrated. I get it, but man, you gotta use some common sense, man. You came very close to that being very, very bad for yourself and for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and for the other drivers behind Ricky as well. That could have been a massive wreck. Riley got lucky. I think there was some video of him doing this in an Xfinity race a couple years ago as well. So Riley's been known to throw it in there and try to get his car back going when he probably should wait an extra beat. I get it, but man, that came very close to being a very, very bad moment for Riley and other people as well. So yeah, Riley Herbst, you got lucky, but you're still getting you can't do that for almost T-boning yourself.
Yeah, like I said, that was on my list as well. I'm going to give mine to the entire Carson Hocevar.
Oh, yeah.
Spire Motorsports fine and situation that's going on. For those of you that don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know if you're listening to this podcast, but if you don't, Carson Hocevar has been fined by Spire Motorsports $50,000 for comments made about Mexico City while iRacing on Twitch. Carson Hocevar, I saw that. Carson Hocevar referred to Mexico City as a shithole while on Steam. He was responding to a question, apparently, that was posed to him about Mexico City. Now, I will preface this by saying, should Carson Hocevar, being in the situation that he's in, and being the public figure that he is, should he have made these comments? Yeah, probably not. However, I will say this. Carson Hocevar is entitled to his own opinion. Carson Hocevar is entitled to say what he believes. And Carson Hocevar is not wrong. Mexico City is a shithole. You know who else? You know what else is a shithole? The city of Anderson. You know what else is a shithole? The city of Greenville, Charlotte, Atlanta, New York, Los Angeles, yeah. Chicago, Detroit. Every major city in the fucking world is a shithole, in my opinion.
There's some good things about the cities, but
obviously,
for the most part, yeah.
Saying that a city is a shithole is not a indictment of the people that live there. It's not an indictment of the race of the people that live there. It is not an indictment of the religion of the people that live there. It is not an indictment of anything other than the city itself. And guess what? The city of Mexico City is a shithole. And I don't understand why people are not allowed to have opinions in this world anymore. It does not make any sense to me why Carson Hocevar is not allowed to tell you what I'm telling you right now. Mexico City is a shithole. I agree with him. Mexico Shitty. There you go. It's a Freudian slip. I didn't mean to say it, but it's true. And it's ridiculous to me that
I'm not posting this on TikTok just in case. I'm not going to post this one. This one is low hanging fruit for community.
If you don't post it, you got a hair on your ass.
And my ass gonna be shiny white.
Anyway, it just doesn't make any sense to me why people can't get out. You can disagree. You can disagree with Carson all day long. I disagree with a lot of the stuff he says. I disagree with a lot of stuff he does. But that doesn't mean he's not entitled to say it. And I just don't understand. I will never get the woe is me victimhood mentality that a lot of people have about.
You gonna cry?
I've got the hiccups. This situation or others, and I just don't think that Spire has a right to fine him $50,000 for words. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You can disagree with him all along. Spire can release a statement saying, hey, we don't agree with what Carson says, but he's entitled to his own opinion. Fair. You can do that. And I would be completely okay with Spire doing that. But to fine him for saying words, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't think they should do it. And I think it's ridiculous.
The only thing I'd say about that is drivers are a little different compared to us. We don't have nobody backing us. Obviously, we have our work where we work, but we don't have sponsors that pay us tons of money to.
You're right.
To make us tons of money.
And you know what? If the Spires have, if the sponsors have a problem with it, guess what they can do? They can quit paying Spire Motorsports to field the car for Carson Hocevar, and if it hurts their bottom line, they don't have to pay him anymore. They don't have to hire him back to drive the race car. That's how the world works.
Won't do that.
If you don't like the person, if you don't like what they stand for.
Well, we saw Kyle Larson lose everything for a year because he said a word. That was a very, very bad word.
A little bit worse of a situation than this, I believe.
It was on iRacing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously,
NASCAR drivers, stay away from iRacing.
yeah, fair. I'll say this, do I think that Kyle Larson deserved to be fired for what he said? No. Do I think Carson Hocevar deserves to be fired for what he said? No. But you let the market dictate if they deserve to have the right or not.
Yeah, I get you on that.
If sponsors no longer want to back Kyle Larson or back Carson Hocevar, that's up to them. And it's up to the teams to decide whether or not it's worth funding having Kyle Larson or Carson Hocevar in your car. And up to Hendrick, it's worth it because he doesn't have any sponsors anymore. He's got HendrickCars.com. Carson Hocevar has...
He's got Prime. He's got some sponsors.
Sure. But at the time, when he first came back, he didn't. And, that's up to the market to dictate. And as far as Carson goes, if Gamebridge and, whatever the other fucking 47 sponsors he's got on his car don't want to sponsor him anymore, guess what? That's the market telling him what you said was wrong. You should not say, hey, you got to give me $50,000 because you have an opinion. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Do you think it would have been different if I'm not saying this? Listen here, I'm not saying I'm throwing this out there. If Carson would have said instead of Mexico City being a shithole, if he'd have said Mexicans are shitty people.
Yeah, that's a worse thing to say. Obviously, again,
not saying that's what I feel.
I think a better argument would be, at least from my side of things, do you think he would have been fined if he would have said, "Man, Detroit's a shithole"?
Where his home state.
Do you think he would have been fined for saying that?
Probably.
I don't think so. I don't think they would have fined him. I really don't. I'm almost 100% positive they wouldn't have.
They wouldn't have or would have?
I don't think they would have.
That's what I said.
Oh, you wouldn't have.
No, I don't think they would.
Yeah, no. They would not have fined him. The only reason, and this is not a political podcast, obviously, but the only reason he was fined for saying Mexico City is a shithole, I did it again. The only reason Carson was fined for saying that is because of what's going on right now in the world of, immigration politics in the United States.
And you thought when Kyle Larson said what he said in 2020 during COVID, and then the George Floyd thing.
That's it.
And
that's it. That's why they're saving face. They're trying to pander, and that's it. They're trying to look like they're doing the right thing. And if he would have said, fucking whatever the capital city of Kazakhstan was a shithole, he probably wouldn't have been fined. If he would have said Detroit is a shithole, he wouldn't have been fined. The only reason he was fined is because there are people out there that disagree with the politics that are going on right now in America and the deportation of illegal immigrants, and a lot of them happen to be from Mexico, and they're upset about it. So Spire wants to get out ahead of it and say, we're compassionate. We don't want people to quit spending money. Please spend money. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason he was fined, and that's ridiculous. Carson Hocevar is entitled to his own opinion. He's entitled to share his own opinion. If you don't like it, it's up to you to not like it. You don't have to buy a Carson Hocevar t-shirt, but he's entitled to say what he wants to say, and he's entitled to believe what he wants to believe. Now, he released an apology. He said Mexico City was fine. It is what it is, but that's ridiculous to me that he had to do it. If he wanted to do it, that's up to him. But I guarantee Aspire went to him and said, hey, gonna need you to release apology on this one.
Yeah.
And I think that's ridiculous.
Well said. Well, Pocono this weekend. Who won that race last year?
Steve Park.
Yep, him. He ain't flipping down the backstretch no more. Tell me about it.
Well, we got Pocono this weekend, obviously, rooting for Fog. But from there, I think it's going to be a pretty decent race. I think Pocono's gotten better in this car compared to the way it was in the last car, one of the tracks that it's improved. You think back to a couple of years ago, you had Kyle Larson, leading the whole race and then blowing the right front and Bowman winning. I think that was a pretty decent race.
That was in the old car.
Was that in the old car? It was the last year of the old car, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Anyway.
2021, not 2022.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. 2022 was Denny
those
and
years
Ross.
mixed together for me, but
2022 was Denny and Ross. 2023 was Denny
that's
and Kyle.
right. Denny and Ross, Denny and Kyle, and then last year was
Just a Blaney ass whooping.
Blaney ass whooping. But overall,
Belt to ass.
Overall, I think Pocono's been better in the past few years than prior. I think it's going to be a pretty decent race this Sunday. I think the Fords are going to be the ones to beat, which is rare to say these days. But I think the Penske cars are going to be good, the 22, the 12, preferably, and most likely those two. I think the Roush cars will be okay. Obviously, Toyota, Chevy, they're not going to be far behind. I'm picking a Toyota this week. If you don't pick him, he's been really good here. It's been Denny. 23's been decent. 45. Obviously, you got Christopher Bell's good every week. So there's a lot of guys that are going to be competitive this week. Probably not going to see a ton of cautions. It's going to be more of a straight-up race. Might come down to fuel strategy. Pocono is one of those tracks that does that sometimes. So I think it'll be a pretty interesting race. May not be one that you remember in 10 years, but I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to this race. Next gen car has improved the racing here, I believe. It's rare, one of the rare tracks that it does. Fuel mileage sometimes comes down at the end of these races. Hadn't had one like that in a while. So maybe this weekend is the time for a fuel mileage race where we get a surprise winner. It definitely could happen. Stages, I think, has kind of hurt the fuel strategy racing at Pocono. I will say that. But overall, I think Fords will be strong. Blaney won this race last year. He's always been good here. He's got 2 wins here. Got his first career win here in 2017 with the Wood brothers. So it's a very good track for him. Logano has been a pretty good track for him. RFK, I'm looking for them to be decent. Chris led some laps here last year. Brad's been good here in the past. We'll see about Priest. Got the Toyotas. Obviously, Denny is his playground. He's the best driver at this track. Any type of generation of car, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7. He's been good at every type car at this track, and so he should be the favorite. Tyler Reddick's gotten some good finishes here. Bubba's been decent here. Christopher Bell's been decent here. Briscoe, we'll see, but Briscoe's kind of the outlier. We'll see how he does this weekend. Then Chevy, you get Ross has been fast here in the past. Chase has been pretty good here. Larson's been pretty good here. Byron's been solid. Bowman's been pretty good here. So all the Hendrick guys should be solid. I don't know if any of them will have race-winning speed. Looking for Larson this weekend. He's been kind of in a slump since the 600. It's kind of weird how that dynamic's gone. He's kind of been in a slump. Last weekend was kind of out of his control. We don't know what he would have had last weekend because he got taken out by Kyle Busch early in the race. But Nashville wasn't great. Got a top 10 finish, but wasn't really Kyle Larson-esque. Michigan, same thing. Got a top 5, I think, at the end of the day, but he was never really a race-winning car that day. And then last week, obviously, you know what happened last week. So Larson, that 510 has been a little off here recently. So Pocono's a good track to see where they're leveling out, see if they can find that race-winning speed again like they had earlier in the year, or they're kind of falling behind a little bit and they got some work to do. So be interesting to see how that dynamic works. And hopefully no rain will get in the way. We've been kind of lucky this year with no rain other than the 500. Mexico City last weekend we had some rain, but it was a road course, so we had rain tires for all that and stuff like that. So been pretty good on the weather side, but Pocono's usually a track where weather could just throw a whole wrench in this race and cause chaos. Just ask Chris Buescher in 2016. So I'm looking forward to it. Hope it's a good race, and hopefully we'll have a 12, a 17, or a 9 car pulling the victory lane on Sunday.
I doubt it, but
Naysayer.
Who you gonna pick?
I'm picking the GOAT of this track, Denny Hamlin. Duh.
Big Dome.
7 wins here, 6. Technically has another win, but it got taken away in 2022 from having tape on the grill. He's one of his better tracks. Finished second here last year. His past, if you take away the disqualifications in 2022, the 3 races in this next-gen car, Denny Hamlin is first, second. Give me Denny Hamlin this weekend. Week off, got a new baby boy, healthy baby boy. He's ready to rock and roll.
That's a fair point. I'm going to pick a car that he owns. Give me the 45. Give me Tyler Reddick.
Big Dome.
Tyler Reddick has been pretty decent here the past couple of years. I think he's got 2 second-place finishes here past couple of years.
It wasn't last year.
I think he finished like 5th or something last year. But he's got some pretty decent finishes here. He'll be fast. Hadn't won a race yet this year. Obviously, we both believe he's going to win a race this year. So give me the 45, Tyler Reddick.
It's funny. I think 2 years ago we had the exact same picks, but the opposite. Of course, Denny won. Reddick finished second.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what you got going on this weekend? Oh, yeah, by the way.
Work.
It's tied up. 9-9. Good number.
I got work.
The comeback is on.
I got work.
Me too.
Work all weekend. Last weekend all nights, so.
Boo.
Unfortunate, but, be able to watch probably the first couple laps of the race and then head to work.
Yeah, I work this weekend too. I'll be on day shift, so I have to watch it at work. Hopefully, work allows me to do that and keep up with the race. But hoping for a good weekend. I think it's triple header this weekend. I think all 3 series are racing trucks Friday evening or Friday afternoon, late afternoon into the evening because they don't have lights at Pocono. But Xfinity Saturday and Cup Sunday. It's Amazon Prime's last race for NASCAR for this season. So see how they do there. I think they've knocked out the park for the most part. I feel like the last weekend's at Mexico was a little over the head. I feel like they kind of talked about it a little too much, but I get it. It's the first international race in 50-plus years, so I understand it. But they've done a really good job, so it kind of sucks to see them go away. But we'll have TNT come in, and we'll see how they do. But, looking forward to it. Made this far in the episode. Appreciate it. Drink a beer, ice cold beer, Busch Light preferably. Fuck Miller Light. When's the last time you had a Miller Lite? You used to drink Miller Lite all the time. It sounded like a door.
It's been a minute.
It sounded like a door opening.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all for listening. Y'all follow us on TikTok at the Highline Podcast. Follow us on YouTube at the Highline Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Highline Official. Follow the show on Spotify and Apple Podcast at the Highline. Hit the notification bell.
Ding, ding.
To get every update. Every time we drop an episode, drop one once a week. We'll come back next week to review Pinocchio. Hopefully a good race with one of my guys in victory lane and more. So until next time, go Tigers.
Go Cox.